button. And we are live. Hello, everyone watching this podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about Steven Spielberg. Why? Because it's Steven Spielberg. Honestly, this week, I know there's like 4 movies coming out, but none of the ideas that I had really seemed to be better than Steven Spielberg. So I was like, you know what? Let's just talk about Steven Spielberg because he's honestly one of the greatest directors of all time. I mean, I know this is a cliche to say, but it's the truth. Steven Spielberg is a legend in filmmaking, and we're going to be talking about our favorite films of his. I'm very excited for this podcast, and this is the first podcast where there's a total of 5 people. I usually have me and, 3 other people at max, or sometimes it's been 3 people and 1 podcast. It was just me and Andrew, but this is the first time we're having, it's going to be me and 4 other people. So it's going to be exciting. I talked to all these 4 gentlemen. They're very excited to talk about this podcast too. So before we start,
I said I was excited.
You did, dude. You texted me that you were excited. So we do introductions every week. So whoever wants to go first, I know you guys have all been in the podcast before, but for the just
for the sake of it. Yes. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film fan 0599 here again. And I originally actually was not supposed to be on this, but Diego, good sir, he let me, come in here. He said, you know what, just for this one, I'll add 1 extra person because he knows how much I love this man, because Steven Spielberg is indeed my favorite director of all time. He's one of the few directors where I've literally almost seen every single film he has made. And this dude has made a lot of movies. He really has. And a lot of them are legitimate masterpieces. So I am excited to talk about limiting this to just 5 was tough. Okay.
Yeah,
it really was.
One of the toughest lists I've had to do with this whole podcast.
Same here. This is the toughest top 5 list I've had to do so far. Sure. But I think I have a good top 5 list, and I'm ready to get into it. But let's let everybody else introduce themselves first.
Hello, everybody. Right. My name's Sammy from Same Old Reviews. I've been seen on the Tom Cruise, Jake Gyllenhaal, Dreamers and Horror podcast. I'm glad to be back here again talking about the top 5 Steven Spielberg film, who is my favorite of all time. I gotta say, this list was so damn hard to do.
Yes, it was very hard.
I gotta say.
All right. Glad to have you back on, Sammy. And you too, 99. All right.
What about
me? Nah.
He's like, not you, you boob.
All right. Nick, what's up, man?
Oh, am I next?
Yes.
You are next, sir.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. I am, as always, Nick Canino, or as I'm now going to be firmly called from now on, thanks to Gary, Nick Canino. And tonight we're going to honor being on Diego's podcast once again. I've been on before with the Ridley Scott and then the Mark Wahlberg, and I cannot believe I said cannoli. It's great being on here once again on Diego's podcast. I was very excited. I am very excited to talk about favorite Steven Spielberg films, because as you know me, next to Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg is like one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. Yeah. And making the top 5 Spielberg films of all time list was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Well,
hope you guys enjoy the show.
Yeah, definitely.
For having me on again.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you on, Nick. Glad to have you on. All right, Andrew.
I don't really know what to say. I never know what to say during these parts because I just don't.
The man of the hour, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, well, moving on. So, Steven Spielberg, so one person's in the chat, John Wick. He asked, who loves E.T.? Well,
we might find that out into this.
Yeah,
list.
we will get to that. We will get to that. But anyway, let's do an introduction to Steven Spielberg. Like I said, one of the greatest directors. He's been making movies for a very long time. Actually, he made his first short film when he was 13 years old. Isn't that crazy? He was 13 years old when he made his first short movie. In 1959, he made it. So then, you know, he made short films. Then he started doing some works on television shows. He directed some episodes. Then he started doing some TV movies. Then he made his first theatrical film, The Sugarland Express, which is one of the very few films of his I have not seen.
Same.
But in total, he's directed 29 theatrical releases, 29 movies over, you know, the past 3 decades, which is pretty insane. And yeah, Steven Spielberg, many people consider him the greatest director of all time. I simply cannot argue with that. So that's my little introduction of Steven Spielberg. So we definitely do have honorable mentions. So
there's no question. Let's go.
So the way I did my honorable mentions today, because usually I just, you know, shout out like a bunch of honorable mentions. But what I did was I made a top 10 list. So my honorable mentions are going to be from number 10 through number 6. And keep in mind that for me, the 10 movies that I have on my list are like A+ films. I gave them all 10 out of 10s, 5 out of 5s. They're perfect. So this was a really hard list for me to make. So with that being said, I'll start with my honorable mentions. So if this was my top 10 list, this is how it would be like. My number 10 is Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a fantastic science fiction film. My number 9, this is going to answer John Wick's question, but my number 9 is E.T. Nice. Fantastic science fiction film. That should have won Best Picture over Gandhi. God damn it.
Fuck you.
Number 8 is Minority Report, one of my favorite Tom Cruise films.
Nice.
I absolutely love that film. It's such a unique science fiction film. Number 7 stars my favorite actor, Leonardo DiCaprio. A really great film, Catch Me If You Can. Such a fantastic film. That should have been nominated for Best Picture, and it wasn't.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And my number 6, the film that almost made the top 5 list, but it didn't, unfortunately. Still love it very much. Munich. Munich is fucking awesome. I love that movie. Really good.
Which movie?
Munich.
You keep on cutting out.
Munich is my number 6.
Munich
with Eric Bana. Okay, so yeah,
I was going to say
Munich, so
before making this podcast, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to see it. But I definitely will try and see it down the road. I hear it's really fantastic.
All right,
so I guess
I'm sorry. Just 1 second. Jackson Fulcher says I'm expecting Kingdom of the Crystal Skull to be everyone's number 1.
Yes.
Well, maybe you won't be disappointed, Jackson. You'll have to see, right?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Let me try to expand on what Jackson is trying to say. He never specified whether it was best or worst. I think what he's trying to say is he expects it to be everybody's number 1 worst Steven Spielberg movie.
Yes.
Maybe you're right. Maybe, but we'll have to see, because we'll get to his worst as well. So we'll see.
All right. So I guess I'll go next with the honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Duel, which was the TV movie he made.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's really great. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, I know. This was tough, okay? Even though he didn't direct this movie, let's be for real, he kind of did direct this movie, Poltergeist.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, he practically had full control over that movie. Let's see, Last Crusade, and my favorite Indiana Jones movie. That didn't even make my list. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Hook, Jurassic Park.
What? Wow.
Catch Me If You Can. And The Adventures of Tintin, Warhorse, and Lincoln. Those are my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, Lincoln was pretty good. I like Lincoln.
Yes.
All right.
My favorite film of 2012.
Oh, okay. All right, Sammy. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yes, I have a lot of mentions. Like I said, this film was pretty tough. Like 10 of Spielberg films in my top 50 favorite films on hand. So believe me, this was pretty tough to do. So anyway, here are my honorable mentions. I have a lot of them. Duel, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Hook, Lost World Jurassic Park, Minority Report, Catch Me If You Can, The Adventures of Tintin, Lincoln, Warhorse, Bridge of Spies, The BFG, The Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and sadly,
Which one?
He said Jaws.
Oh, Jaws. Oh, shit. Okay.
Said Jaws.
Oh my.
All right. And, Jackson Fulcher did say that he meant best for Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, gee.
All right.
Well, Jackson, you're finally disappointed.
And John Wick asks,
All
what
right.
about Saving Private Ryan? It's, well, you'll have to see John
We'll
Wick.
get to
We'll
it.
see.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
All right, Nick, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yes, I have a lot of mentions. A lot.
Okay.
Estimating like 13 honorable mentions.
Oh, damn. Okay.
And here are my picks. Amistad and Empire of the Sun. The very underrated sci-fi film that a lot of people were polarized on, but personally, I think this one is one of my all-time favorites. AI, artificial intelligence.
I actually like that movie. I don't get why that's hated. I don't love it, but I do think it's good.
I agree.
Personally, I personally loved it, but I can understand the polarizing reception. And next, Minority Report.
I love Munich.
Sammy. Oh god. Minority Report. That's my next honorable mention. These next two are Indiana Jones films, and no, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or Temple of Doom are not on there. I chose the ones that were the best to me. Last Crusade, the one that started it all, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Next, oh boy, these next two are gonna shock a lot of people. Because I know a lot of people love these movies, and I do love them too. It's just they weren't enough to make it on my list. Next is Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, oh boy, I love this film, but I'm afraid I'm gonna get so much people saying, Nick, why don't you have this in your top 5? It's Jurassic Park.
Damn. All right.
It was tough. It was tough leaving that movie out. Okay, it really was.
All right.
The last two are true stories, and they are Bridge of Spies, my number 3 film of 2015.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah, Bridge of Spies is a really good one.
And Lincoln, my favorite film of 2012.
Yeah, Daniel Day-Lewis deserved the Oscar for that. I'm glad
Yes,
he
he
won
did.
the Oscar for Lincoln.
He deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
It was legitimate, like looking at Lincoln, you know.
Yeah, it was Abraham Lincoln pretty much. Like, it literally, you were watching Abraham Lincoln on screen. All right. Andrew, do you have any honorable mentions?
Of course I do.
All right. What are they?
All right, I got 5 like Diego, which would honestly be my 10 through 6. So my
Okay.
number 10 would be Adventures of Tintin. 9, Catch Me If You Can. 8 would be Minority Report. 7 would be Schindler's List. And 6, what? Don't look at me like that.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Hey, if people could have Raiders of the Lost Ark on their honorable mentions, I could have this movie on my honorable mentions. And my number 6 is Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, those were our honorable mentions. Now we're going to get right into the top 5. So, yeah, we'll just go in the order the way we went. So, I'll go first. Double Nye, you can go second. Sammy, you can go third. Nick Canino, you can go fourth. And Andrew, you can go last. And for those who have the same number, just join in the conversation. Same old shit as always.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 5. My number 5 is one of Steven Spielberg's classics. My number 5 is Jaws. Now, interestingly enough, Jaws was my number 5 in my top 5 horror films, which I believe Double Nine, Sammy, and Andrew were on that podcast. So
Yes, I was.
yeah, so Jaws is my number 5 for this podcast as well. So I'll just kind of echo what I said in the horror podcast. while talking about Jaws. Jaws is a classic. It's a film I've seen so many times. It's a great horror film. I watched it when I was young, and watching it when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I was terrified. I mean, I know I've said this before, but I'm like legitimately surprised that movie's rated PG because that movie is pretty intense for a PG film. Like the way how the shark kills people and like just the intense sequences. I don't know how it's PG. Well, I guess back in the day it was different. But anyway, what I love about it is not just the intensity and the fact that it's a great shark attack kind of film. There's great characters, great dialogue, and it's just a phenomenal movie from start to finish. One of the best scenes of the movie is when all three of the characters are having a monologue. It's like late at night, and it's actually really cool. Yeah, all the acting is terrific, and yeah, I mean, it's a film that I've seen so many times. It's similar to a lot of films on this list. Steven Spielberg film. I feel like he makes films that are really rewatchable and just really entertaining and so well made. And Jaws is absolutely no exception to that. And I can't not mention John Williams' score, which I believe many of the movies on my list, John Williams collaborated with Steven Spielberg. So this is one of his most famous scores. The Jaws theme song is so famous, so everyone knows it. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you know what it is. So Jaws to me is easily one of Steven Spielberg's best. I would definitely, if you haven't seen it, please go see it. Just don't watch any other Jaws movie. I mean, 2 is okay, but 3 and 4 are terrible. But the first one's a classic. First one's like a 6 out of 5 movie. So Jaws is my number 5. All right, Double Nine, what's your number 5?
All right, number 5. Just like you, I'm going to echo this one from another podcast we did. And that was the Tom Cruise podcast. My number 5 is Minority Report.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, awesome.
This movie,
Nice.
like with the Tom Cruise podcast, I'm going to just echo what I said in there. Minority Report is one of the most intriguing sci-fi movies I think I've ever seen in my life. The concept of this, of people, taking down crime before they even happen is really intriguing. Then, when you find out some things that are happening, the movie gets even more intriguing. You're interested of where the story's going to go next. The action sequences are really fantastic. I really love how Steven Spielberg films these action sequences. The visuals still hold up 15 years later. They really do. This movie has one of the best depictions I've ever seen of the future. I absolutely love how it incorporates the future, also technology as well. I love the gadgets in this movie. They're so great. Tom Cruise and Colin Farrell give really great performances in that film. I think they're really great. It's my favorite action movie performance from Tom Cruise. He really is great in that movie. And, just some things that I know a lot of people say that the third act kind of makes the movie fall flat a bit, which I disagree with. I really love once you find out that certain thing, you're like, oh, shit. It's crazy. It's a really great movie. And I think it's probably his most underappreciated movie. I think not a lot of people talk about it, which sucks because it's a really great movie. I really love it a lot. It's definitely one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time. So, yeah, Minority Report is my number 5.
Yeah, awesome movie. I love that movie so much.
Oh, it's so great. All right, I'll be right back. I'll literally be a minute. Hold on.
Okay, no problem. All right, Sammy, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. So what is your number 5?
Number 5's favorite Spielberg film is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
Nice. Fantastic movie.
Oh, definitely. That's E.T. is really amazing film. This is just it has a lot of sorry. E.T. This is definitely an amazing film. It's a film that I watched so many times growing up. It's definitely one of my favorite childhood films, and my hand time I watched it, it never gets old.
Yeah.
And it's a film that really does tell the meaning of friendship and all that. It's very sweet. It's very hilarious at times, and definitely it's very emotional, especially towards near the end, where I cry every single time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also Drew Barrymore's first performance, I believe.
Yeah, and she was great in it.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Tim, the other kid, Elliot, that kid that played them, but he was definitely great as well.
Oh yeah,
I love the E.T. was great as well. The effects with the aliens still hold up well today. And it's a film that really shows the true meaning of friendship. It's a film that's referenced a lot to this day, especially with the bike scene.
Yeah.
My scenes of film, I laugh, I always laugh, I always feel, and I always get emotional about to this day. E.T. is a truly amazing film. It's one of my favorite genre films. I still watch it to this day. That's why it's my number 5.
Awesome. Great choice. All right, Nick, what is your number 5?
All right. Okay, my number 5. My number 5 is a film that came out in 1985. Spielberg's best. The Color Purple.
Fantastic movie. See, I love that movie so much, and even making it to my top 10 list. That should show you how great Spielberg is. That's a great one.
Yeah. This was a movie that Roger Ebert named his favorite film of 1985, and I could definitely see why, because this movie is so emotional and ever seen.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie was terrific. The story was fantastic, and the story was very interesting and fantastic. The script was fantastic. Fantastic job directing this film. Whoopi Goldberg, next to Ghost, this is probably my favorite performance from her.
And not to mention, I think that was her first performance, so it's probably like the best performance by like a female actress, acting her like debut as an actress. Phenomenal.
Yes. She was phenomenal in that film. And Oprah Winfrey was also in the film, and she was terrific.
Oh, she was. Yeah. And so was Danny Glover.
Yeah, he was also terrific too.
Mm-hmm.
The score by Quincy Jones is absolutely fantastic. Phenomenal. The Michael Kahn's editing, phenomenal. The pacing, not once did I feel bored throughout. I was emotionally invested with the story throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love the production values and costume design too. The way it looked and the way the actors dressed. It felt like I was back like 19th century.
Yeah.
And I just love this movie in general. I mean, Spielberg has crafted one of the most emotional, riveting films I had ever seen in my life. I mean, bullshit. The fact that Out of Africa won Best Picture over The Color Purple, give me a break.
And not only that, but the movie was nominated for 11 Oscars, and it didn't win anything.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg should have won the Oscar.
Yeah, Danny Glover wasn't even nominated, and that performance was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I would argue it's like the biggest snub of the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Well, Andrew, you should know this. Back to the Future came out in 1985, right?
I think it was 1984.
85.
I'll look it up though. 5. All right.
Yeah, because I know Jerome always says that Back to the Future wasn't even
1985,
nominated. Yeah, so I know he always says
listen.
that should have won over Out of Africa. So
Well, Back to the Future is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, and I don't even think that it didn't get the Best Picture nomination either, right? So
No, it won for. I think the only thing it only got nominated for like song, and it won for like sound editing.
And that's crazy too, because of how like talked about it is by everyone, even to this day. So
it might have been nominated for visuals, but I don't know if it won for visuals.
yeah, so I mean, Out of Africa won over Color Purple and Back to the Future, which wasn't even nominated. So.
And I've seen Out of Africa, and honestly, that movie's just Oscar bait. Are great, but the problem is it suffers through a story I've seen many times before, and it's just the script is and and it's just the directions plan. I give Out of Africa a C minus.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
deserve the best picture Oscar whatsoever.
damn.
Movie,
So
it
the-
does have some memorable moments in it, but it was just one of those things where you ask in Best Picture over all the films that came out in 1985, Back to the Future, and The Color Purple, which should have won Best Picture. Like, are you kidding me?
Well, like I said, Spielberg has been robbed many times, and I think this is one of the few times that many times that he was.
Well, it's funny because Spielberg like produced Back to the Future too.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Oh, yeah,
produced
he did.
it. So that once again, in a way, Spielberg got robbed.
Twice
Yeah.
that year.
And it's funny because even though like they're not Spielberg films, Back to the Future and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, two films I absolutely adore, and they're some of my favorites of all time. They were both produced by Spielberg,
Yeah. Crazy.
and so was Gremlins. And I love Gremlins too, which was also produced by Spielberg.
Well, Nick, do you have anything to add about The Color Purple?
Really, I was gonna say it's powerful, it's riveting, and it's exhilarating, and it's emotional. If you haven't seen The Color Purple yet, see it as soon as you can. It is a phenomenal movie, and that's why it's my number 5.
All right, Andrew, what's your number 5?
Can you take a wild guess what it is, Diego?
Jurassic Park.
No, it is probably something that people are going to be surprised that it's this low. Saving Private Ryan.
Really? Oh, that's low.
Whoa! Shit!
I mean, but yeah, no, Saving Private Ryan. Fuck Shakespeare love. You know, like fuck that.
Fuck that, man.
Honestly, I mean, Saving Private Ryan is fucking fantastic. It's one of the best war films, if not the best war films ever made. It's probably one of the best directed by Spielberg. Definitely one of the best directed by Spielberg. And honestly, when I think of movies that got robbed at the Oscars, this is the first one that comes to my mind. That and like Brokeback Mountain. Well, actually, no. My 4 and my 3 are also movies that come to mind when I think of robbed at the Oscars, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. But yeah, one of my favorite parts of this movie is the when they finally find Private Ryan, and just how he still wants to be there and fight. And one line that always sticks out to me is, "Well, tell my mom I'm here fighting with the only brothers I have left." Like that. That's just so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And what the crew goes to get this guy. They've literally risked their lives. Some of them died.
Yep.
It has probably one of the best endings of all time, one of the most powerful endings of all time, where Private Ryan asks his wife, "Am I a good man?" That's just absolutely so powerful. And I'm not the biggest fan of Vin Diesel, but he gives probably his best performance.
Oh yeah, Jordan's in that film.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
he's
no,
not
Saving Private Ryan's my
that
number.
much, but he's really good.
Yeah, no, Saving Private Ryan's my number 5.
All right, so that was on number 5. Now we're on to number 4. My number 4 is a film I couldn't believe Double Nine and Nick had in their honorable mentions, because it's a really fantastic film. That is Jurassic Park.
All right.
You didn't just walk away on my list.
Jurassic Park is another classic. Came out in 1993. Steven Spielberg made 2 films that year. I will talk about the other one a little later on, but we're talking about Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is a very entertaining film. It's very rewatchable, and it's just awesome. Once again, John Williams' score is iconic. Nick was the one who was singing it. Oh no, it was Double Nine. I'm sorry, Double Nine was the one who was singing it before.
Yes.
You know, it's a fantastic theme song. You know, and just the soundtrack is just so great. And it's a very fun movie. You know, and the characters are awesome. Jeff Goldblum's fantastic, and I feel like Samuel L. Jackson's like never talked about, but I love his character in this movie.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Hold on to your butts.
Yeah, and yeah, child performances, they can go one of two ways. They can either be really good or really terrible. And luckily in Jurassic Park, they're actually really good.
Well,
So, you know, you love every single character, and I feel like it's kind of similar to Jaws in that way. You know, where when stuff gets really when shit hits the fan, like in the third act, you're actually so much more invested because you care about the characters. And you know, the practical effects after how many years did it? Was it 25? I think. Yeah, 25 years.
Well, it came out in 1993, and it's now currently 2017. So you do the math.
Yeah, that's why I'm terrible at math. So I think it's 25 years, but
24. You're close enough.
24.
24. Okay, yeah, 24 years. 24 years, and the effects still hold up. That's what I was trying to say.
Absolutely.
And I think a couple years ago, it was re-released in 3D, and I remember watching it in 3D. And I'm like, dude, this looks phenomenal. And it was like, no, man. I mean, not only from a visual standpoint, but it's just everything you want in a movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like I said, I've seen it so many times. The dialogue's awesome. It's funny, and it's exciting. It's intense. Jurassic Park is just, I love it. I love it so much.
It's a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Very much so.
So Jurassic Park is my number 4. All right, Double Nine, what's your number 4?
Number 4. This is something that I couldn't believe was only in your top 10, Diego.
Which one?
This is another sci-fi movie, the first ever Steven Spielberg movie I ever saw. And this is E.T. the Extraterrestrial.
That is also my number 4.
Oh my. Number 4, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This movie is so amazing. This makes you care about relationship between a boy and an alien. It's so great. Like, this has also one of the best child performances I think I've ever seen in my life. I love Henry Thomas. I believe that's the kid's name.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, he was great. If you've ever seen his audition tape for the movie, it's really fantastic. You should actually go look it up. It's really great. It's probably the best audition tape I think I've ever seen. It's really great, and they really deserve the role. And really show, like you said, with like the kids from Jurassic Park, child actors can go one or two ways. And this was a way that went right, because if he wasn't a good actor, this movie would have failed. Honestly, but he was a great actor, and it really made you care for their relationship with him and E.T. It's really fantastic. That's my favorite element about this entire movie is their friendship and their bond with each other. And of course, that iconic scene where, you know, they're all on the bikes and then they start flying. That's just an iconic shot where they go through, you know, where their shells in the moon. Just, it's an amazing movie. And the ending always gets me so emotional when they have, when it happens, E.T. Full Home, you know, it's great. It's really emotional. If you've never seen E.T., please see it. It's an amazing achievement film. It really is. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. And Diego's just nodding his head at everything because he knows it's true. So,
yeah, absolutely.
E.T. the Extraterrestrial, one of my favorites. Definitely one of my all-time favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Deserves to be my number 4.
All right, Andrew, why is E.T. your number 4?
Pretty much what Double Nine said. It's one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. I just absolutely love the friendship between E.T. and Elliot. I think it's one of the best friendships in all of movies. And one scene that always sticks out to me that I always find hilarious is when E.T.'s hiding in the closet and the mom opens up the closet and the camera's panning and you see all the stuffed animals and then E.T.'s head is just there.
Yes.
I just find that funny. I don't know why. It's just so fucking hilarious. And I'm pretty sure E.T. is the reason I love Reese's Pieces so much, because as a kid I wanted to have... Yeah, because I wanted to have them as a kid because E.T. had them, and they're just so fucking good.
Yeah, that is true.
But yeah, no, I love. It has a lot of heart. This movie,
Yes,
like a lot of heart.
Oh yeah,
And a lot of like funny moments too, like when Drew Barrymore sees ET for the first time, they're both freaking out. That's just so fucking funny. But yeah, no, ET's my number 4.
All right. And you were the only two who had a number 4, right? Like, did anyone else have a number 4 or no?
No, I don't think so. I think
okay.
me,
Right.
Andrew.
Yeah, just want
Andrew.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Sammy, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is Schindler's List.
Okay.
Yeah, this is definitely and truly outstanding film. Just, oh my god. Like, I don't know what to say about Schindler's List, right, but this film is truly outstanding. From the performances like Neil Neeson, like this is me. It's my favorite performance from Liam Neeson. He definitely does. It's been my best performance from him. Ben Casey also delivers well. They find everybody delivers great performances here. Except for some of the best. This film is a very haunting. It's a film that really just, oh my god. And it's one of those rare films that's very long, but you don't feel like it's like, oh, it's dragging. Oh my god, I can't just get to this. Get something. Oh my god. I appreciate the score by John Williams. Definitely great as well. Cinematography, the editing, everything about Schindler's is truly outstanding. Outstanding. And that's why it's my number 4.
All right. Great choice. All right, Nick Canino, your number 4?
We'll hear about Schindler's List later, because I have a lot to talk about when we get to that. My number 4, it's a movie that you mentioned, Diego, and it is indeed Jaws.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is one of the greatest. This is one of Spielberg's best. Absolutely one of his best films. I saw it back in September 2012. I owned the VHS of it, the original 1983 MCA home videotape. And I watched it for the first time. It was incredible. It was amazing. The way told, the way it was executed, everything in this movie was just phenomenal. The story was fantastic. The script was fantastic. Spielberg did a fantastic job directing this film. The acting was terrific. It's fantastic in this movie. Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, and as what characters did she play? Because I know she played the wife of Roy Scheider's character. I forgot what it was.
Wait, which actress are you talking about?
Lorraine Gary.
I can't remember what character she played. What character was she again?
Oh, I'm living look.
Well, wasn't she Ellen Purdy?
Right.
Yeah, she might have been.
Oh, I'm looking. Yep. Yeah, it was.
She was terrific. The score John Williams took with the film, absolutely one of the best scores that John Williams has done.
Yeah.
It is one of the most I had ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography was terrific. The editing was terrific. It's very well paced. It's got some moments in it as well. In this one scene, like we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Yeah, one of the most quotable lines in like film history.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what's also great about the film? The way they used a mechanical shark to make the shark look real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible is the best word to describe it. Overall, if you haven't seen Jaws, now One of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah.
I've seen the sequels. Like Jaws 2 I actually liked.
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but
Yeah, it was okay.
I actually like the second movie, but it's not perfect. It does have flaws here and there, but I would give it a B.
But Jaws 3 and 4.
Fox 3 and especially 4.
Was
Oh my god.
Especially the Revenge.
Worst movies ever made.
Three was pretty
Jaws the Revenge.
bad. Holy shit!
Yeah, one of
Holy shit! Jaws the Revenge, one of the worst fucking movies ever made.
also one of the rare films having 0 Rotten Tomatoes.
I think Jaws the Revenge has one of the funniest lines ever said. Ever.
Oh Jesus, what is it?
When it's when Michael Caine it goes, the plane! Ah shit!
Shit.
And to think he missed his Oscar fucking the Oscars that he was filming for that movie, right?
Listen,
Oh,
here,
that's right.
I can 100% understand why. He just wanted to go on a paid vacation with his family.
Oh yeah, isn't that why he did the movie?
Yeah, that's very much what he did.
Oh dear Jesus.
Oh jeez.
And I can also mention about the first Jaws movie. Like, I feel like it's gonna forever be like the best shark movie ever. So like,
There's no question about that.
all the new shark movies coming out, dude. I'm sorry, they're not gonna be anywhere near as good as Jaws.
Oh wait,
That's
so you're
what-
not excited for 48 meters down?
That's the problem with modern shark movies is that they try to be like Jaws so much.
Yeah, and they're just not at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So finishing up what I was going to say, Jaws is a masterpiece. It's one of the best horror films I've seen in my life. It's the greatest shark film I've ever seen. Proves on why Steven Spielberg is one of the best filmmakers working today. And that's why it's my number 4.
All right, so that was our number 4. Now we're on to number 3. My number 3 is another film Double Nine had in his honorable mentions, which I'm surprised at. But my number 3 is the start of a franchise, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's also my number 3.
Yay!
Yeah, yay.
Well, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I would like to say that I really do like the franchise. I do really enjoy Temple of Doom. I know not many people do, but I do like that film. And The Last Crusade, I think, is incredible. I was very disappointed with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but Raiders of the Lost Ark, for me, is a masterpiece. That's like a 6 out of 5 movie. And once again, John Williams' score, phenomenal. I mean, the Indiana Jones song is just so good. And just the movie is so, another entertaining, another rewatchable film. Another film where the film, it's a really exciting adventure. You know, from beginning to end, you're just so entertained and so invested in its story. And it's just so, this movie is so much fun. You know, it's so entertaining, and I love Indiana Jones. I love all the other characters. And it's, when I first saw it when I was young, I was just so amazed by what I've seen. It might have been the first Spielberg film I was introduced to. It might have been. I think it was. But yeah, the direction is phenomenal. The cinematography is beautiful. The editing, which I don't really comment on like as much as I should, but even the editing and the sound and all that shit is just top notch.
Oh,
So,
when they do the whip, you know, it sounds so great.
Yeah, it sounds crazy good. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, Harrison Ford once again plays another badass, iconic character. And once again, another time where Steven Spielberg was robbed, you know, for his Best Director Oscar and for the Best Picture Award. So, thanks, Academy. But yeah, this is to me, it's a masterpiece. It's a phenomenal.
DOAPs.
Yeah. And yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is my number 3. A phenomenal film that if you have never, I know there are people who have never seen any Indiana Jones movies, and I do really recommend them because They're
Oh
fucking
yeah.
awesome. They're really good.
Yeah.
So, Sammy, why is Raiders of the Lost Ark your number 3?
Well, you pretty much said everything. Like, Raiders of the Lost Ark is truly one of the best adventure films, I think. Also, I'm gonna say my top, this film along my top 2 all my top 10 favorites of all time. Just let you know. Now that's this is definitely my top 10. Like, I don't know what to say about this one that hasn't already been said. It's amazing. It's fun. It's entertaining. Harrison Ford's amazing. It's one of the best adventure films ever made. It's a truly iconic film with an iconic score. With, you can understand everything. It's a truly outstanding film. One of my all-time favorites. I can adore this film to death. Like, and who doesn't?
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's one of those movies that it's like impossible to hate. Like, how can anyone hate this movie?
Exactly. Like,
I know, right?
it's such a fun adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have anything else to add, Sammy, on Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No.
Okay. All right. So, 99, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is arguably the most heartbreaking freaking movie I've ever seen in my life. Schindler's List.
Yeah.
Schindler's List. I saw this for the first time last year. I was stunned of, like, hardly movies make me cry, but man, just what happens in this movie is so damn heartbreaking. And what adds to the effect of it is this actually happened. This was an actual thing that happened in real life with the Holocaust and all that. It's so heartbreaking to watch. And just the way that Steven Spielberg directs this movie, it's so fantastic. I love that the whole movie's in black and white. Because it's, it's kind of like a grim, dark tale of what happened in real life, with the Holocaust, and just telling it in black and white just added more to the effect for me. And, just the performances from Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson probably gives his best performance in this movie. And he's really fantastic. I really think he should have won Best Actor, honestly, for this movie. He was terrific as Oscar Schindler. Ray Fiennes, who is phenomenal in this movie. So just, like, he makes you hate him. Like, you want him to die. Like, he is a piece of shit. Like, you want him to, like, die. And Ralph Fiennes does a really great job portraying that character, and he should have won Best Supporting Actor as well. Like, he was phenomenal. I absolutely loved him in this movie. He did such a phenomenal job. And it's just a movie that is just, is it hard to watch? Yes, it is. But it's truly an amazingly, well-shot movie. It's very well told. It's very heartbreaking, but I think it's a really, truly amazing movie. And, I'm glad that Steven Spielberg, because I believe this is the one that finally got him Best Director. Yeah. And it's about damn time that they did that for him. And I'm glad that this movie won Best Picture as well, because out of any of the ones that were nominated, this truly deserved it the most. So, yeah, Schindler's List, just, it's like, it's like a very, very, very hard punch to the gut, this movie. It honestly is. So, yeah, I love Schindler's List. Comes as my number 3.
All right, Nick, what is your number 3?
Like I said before, I'll talk about Schindler's List when we get to it.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I have a lot to say, but not to get off topic. All right, my number 3 is a movie that what it this to E.T.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Great film.
Fantastic movie.
This was Steven Spielberg's most well-known and famous works that he's done, especially like when you see the poster and the video and DVD of it, you see like a picture of the moon and the full moon, and it has a boy and the alien on the bike, which is also the logo for Emblem Entertainment.
Yeah.
This was the main reason why this was one of his most famous works, because of how well told the story was, and how interesting it was to see the relationship between the boy and the alien.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Emotional, exhilarating, and riveting film. Spielberg's best films and one of the best science fiction films I had ever seen. The story was fantastic. The script was fantastic. His direction that he took with the film also fantastic. The acting was terrific. This was Drew Barrymore's first film, and she was terrific.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, she was.
Kid. He was terrific as well. Like I'm talking about the one like where he's the main character and he meets the alien.
Yeah. What was his name again? Someone brought it up before. The main character's name in E.T.
Elliot.
The main character's in E.T. His name is the actor or the character's name?
The actor.
Okay,
And
hold on.
Thomas.
Yeah, Sammy said it. Henry Thomas, right? Yeah.
I think that was.
Yeah, Henry Thomas. He was terrific. He gave out one of the best performances I had ever seen.
Yeah, easily.
The score John Williams took with the film. Just love that score very much. Cinematography was terrific.
Yeah.
One more time?
Oh, I was gonna say, and yet another time Spielberg was robbed of the Oscar.
Yes.
Yeah. It should have won Best Picture, not Gandhi.
Yeah,
Gandhi-
fuck you, Gandhi.
Gandhi is bored. I'm sorry, that movie bored me to tears.
I haven't seen it, so I can't
I've
say.
never seen Gandhi, so I can't really, judge
I'll
it.
say this about
Yes, I haven't
Gandhi.
seen it either.
Ben Kingsley was phenomenal as Gandhi, but the movie as a whole is 3 hours long and it feels like 10 hours long. It's so dull and it's boring.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I can't say.
I personally
Boring
love the
as
film, but
Fuck.
honestly, it should have never been 3 hours long.
Yeah, it was way too long. Way too long.
The cinematography was terrific. The editing was terrific. The pacing was. There are some humorous moments in it as well, and my God, one of the most emotional endings I had ever seen.
Yeah.
Will be right. What a great scene that is.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
alien is looks amazing too, I should say.
Even to this day, if you watch it now, like still like the effects are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, if you haven't seen E.T., now it's one of the greatest movies I had ever seen, one of Steven Spielberg's very best films, and one of the best sci-fi. I would say it's probably my favorite sci-fi film of all time.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I can definitely. That's totally understandable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a phenomenal movie. And that's why it's my number 3.
All right, and Andrew, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Jaws.
Mm.
Yeah, awesome choice.
It's definitely one of the best horror movies of all time. Just one of the best movies of all time. I actually consider it more of like an adventure action movie than anything. But I could 100% understand why people consider it a horror film, because there's some pretty terrifying moments in this film. Especially when it's the 3 guys on the boat and they're trying to kill it.
Yeah, or even the opening scene was like, oh my God, with the girl.
Spielberg masterfully directs this and shows like how to make something terrifying, because you don't really see the shark that much, and I think that's why it's so terrifying. Mm-hmm. And when you do see the shark, it's just so scary because you never know when it's gonna come. And
right.
and this shark, man, it's huge. Mm-hmm. And it just how they have to kill it and what they got to do. They pretty much got to give it all they got to kill this goddamn shark. And it always pissed me off, the mayor, because he doesn't like he.
Oh yeah, he's a prick.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, there's a fucking shark eating people.
He's like, no, we're gonna make a lot of money. Nope, just let everyone in the water.
Yeah, it's
And then when the kid dies, he's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, he should have been eaten by the shark.
Yeah, and it's just the shark is probably one of the best serial killers of all time, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like the shark is easily one of the best villains of all time in movies, and it's a fucking robot.
Yeah,
That's how great like Spielberg directs this.
yeah, I think like similar to Jurassic Park, it's all practical effects, you know, instead of like the CGI visual effects, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the guy who plays Quint,
Yeah,
does a fantastic job. He should have been nominated for an Oscar for that role.
was the movie nominated for Best Picture?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Another year where Spielberg was robbed. Look at that.
Yes, but a lot of people
And
said
it should have won
that.
Best Picture.
But a lot of people
Yeah.
said that the movie that did win for Best Picture did deserve it, and that was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So I can't really.
Oh, that okay. That was that year. Okay, then
Yeah, that was that year, so I can't really, as much as I wanted Jaws to win Best Picture, I can't really argue with them
Well,
giving it.
maybe that for Best Picture, but Steven Spielberg should have won the Best Director. I think.
Yes, I think
He wasn't even nominated for Best Director.
I've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and it is one of my all-time favorite films. It's just that Steven Spielberg should have.
Yeah, he wasn't even nominated for Best Director.
Yeah, what I would have done
Wasn't
was
even
have him
nominated.
win for Best Director, and maybe One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for Best Picture. That's fine.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
But yeah, he wasn't even nominated.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it won Best Original Score and maybe something for sound, but that's about it. But Jaws is my number 3.
No.
All right, so that was on number 3. Now we're on to number 2. My number 2. Now I believe most of you already mentioned this film. This is probably the most powerful film I've ever seen in my life, and that is Schindler's List.
Oh.
Now I know there are many people who consider this Steven Spielberg's number 1 best film, and I can totally see why, because it's a master. It's a cinematic achievement. Like, this is the definition of a cinematic achievement. It does everything right. And I've stated before that Steven Spielberg what makes him great is that he's directed so many different movies, different genres and stuff. And it really shows how great he is, because he's pretty much masters them all. And this movie in particular, I feel like people back then saw a completely different side of him. And you're like, oh my God, this guy is really, really, really something special, because not only can he do movies like Jurassic Park or Jaws, but he can do a movie about the Holocaust and make it as raw and heartbreaking as it is. And
Yep.
I mean, this movie does not hold back with the the way it depicts the Holocaust and everything. I mean, it is really heartbreaking to see. One of the many scenes, or just many parts of the movie that always gets to me, is like the woman who literally had to like cut their fingertips just to create blood, and they would have to put it on their faces just to put some kind of makeup so they won't look like, won't look terrible.
Yeah.
That is just holy shit. Yeah.
Sickening.
Yeah. And Ralph Fiennes, look, I know you're supposed to hate Nazis, but him in particular, he was despicable.
Yeah.
I do think The Fugitive is a great film. Tommy Lee Jones was really good, but the Oscar just should have went to Ralph Fiennes for that.
Oh, for no question.
Oh, yeah, because he was phenomenal. And Liam Neeson, look, he's an awesome action star. I love him in Taken. I love him in a lot of action stars. And Batman Begins, he's a wonderful villain as Ra's al Ghul. This is his best performance, though.
Oh, definitely.
Without question.
Without question.
Yes.
Without question, yeah. This is now this movie is 3 hours and 12 minutes long. I know we mentioned Gandhi before, how it felt like it was forever, but in this movie, it didn't. I didn't feel the pacing at all.
Me neither. I didn't feel.
I was
Me
so
neither.
I was so invested in its story, And yeah, it is a hard film to watch, but it's one of the most important films you will ever see in your life. One of the most important, riveting, and powerful films ever made.
Yeah.
And the cinematography, phenomenal. I mean, the whole movie is in black and white, and what always gets to me is the shot of the girl with the red jacket.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And John Williams, I believe he won the Oscar for his score, because his score is unlike. It's so different from like the Indiana Jones and Jaws and Jurassic Park, and it's incredible. This is a masterpiece, like one of absolutely one of the best films ever made, and this is like ranked number 6 on IMDb's top 250 list. But you know what's actually pretty deplorable, honestly? If you go on IMDb user ratings, you'll see tons of people rate it like 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10, saying that the movie is awful, and like Steven Spielberg's trying to manipulate people into feeling sorry for the Jewish people. I'm not even kidding.
What the fuck, people?
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Incoming rant.
Oh, here we go.
Bullshit!
Yeah.
Oh, man. Wait, I got a question, Diego.
What?
Would you have rather seen Liam Neeson win for this or Tom Hanks for Philadelphia?
You know, I know it's a shame, but I have not seen Philadelphia yet. So
Philadelphia is a
I've
great
seen
movie.
that.
You
It's
should
a great
definitely see it.
film.
I
It is a great film.
To surprise me, sir, on what movies you have not seen. Gee, how long have we been friends? And I found out, like, this year alone, that you have not seen Back to the Future. Like, what the fuck?
There's a lot of film that I've seen.
What's next? Your real name's not Diego? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's another.
And you called me out for not seeing Prisoners, but you haven't seen Back to the Future.
I know. I'm gonna see that at some point. I know.
If we ever do top 5 Robert Zemeckis films, we're gonna force you to see it.
Hey, listen.
We'll be doing top 5 trilogies, so then I'll have to see that. Yeah, because that's
Okay.
Yeah, you goddamn right better seeing it. But in my defense, or in Diego's defense, I have not seen The Godfather.
What?
Okay, now time to get on your ass.
What? Oh my God!
Time to get on your ass now. Oh,
Listen,
Oh,
I don't know how many.
oh my God.
This podcast has gone off the rails. This is wonderful.
Yeah, I don't listen.
What? So for God's sake!
Oh, man. So, Diego, do you have anything else to say about Schindler's?
Just the fact that it totally deserved Best Picture. I know Jurassic Park came out that same year, and it really shows how awesome Steven Spielberg is. Like those 2 movies in 1 year, holy crap! Like
how?
That's crazy.
Only
Like,
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, only Steven Spielberg, right? But yeah, that's Schindler's List. Yeah, it's on Netflix for those who haven't seen it. It is very long, but it's a very rewarding experience. I love this movie so much. So Schindler's List is my number 2. All right, Double Nine, you're number 2.
Number two. Speaking of movies with Best Picture, number 2. This is the greatest war movie ever made, and this is the movie that should have won Best Picture. My number 2 is Saving Private Ryan. That's my number 2.
It's my number 2 as well.
Let's go, boys. Number 2.
Also my number 2 as well.
All 3 of you. Look at that.
So yeah, Saving Private Ryan. This, like I said, I think this is the greatest war movie ever made. Like, this movie is so enthralling to watch. Like, from the opening scene, literally, they do not waste any time within the opening scene of the movie. It is one of the most brutal things I think I've ever seen in my life. Like, Jesus, that opening scene is phenomenal. And everything else that leads to it is really, really great. And like what, I believe it was Andrew, he was talking about when they do meet Private Ryan, just that conversation that they have. is great. Like, I love that conversation between him and Tom Hanks and Matt Damon. It's really, really fantastic. This is definitely one of Tom Hanks' best performances, and it's one of Matt Damon's best performances as well. Like, it is so phenomenal. And then, of course, when you get to that last half of the movie where it's just that giant war action scene, it is one of the greatest scenes put in the film. Like, I love that scene so much, especially the guy with the sniper rifle. That was intense. Like, he is just going
incredible.
Like, I love this movie so much. It has definitely the best depiction of war I've ever seen put to film. It is quite incredible. I love this movie. It's so it does not hold back, which I love. This movie is just a hard R, which is great because I feel like a lot of war movies should be R-rated because, you know, it just adds to the kind of the brutal nature of war. Yeah. So I mean, it just adds a lot. So yeah, Saving Private Ryan, phenomenal movie. That is just enough said. I think I said everything I needed to say about this movie because it's just phenomenal. I love Saving Private Ryan, and it's my number 2. So there you go.
All right, Sammy, why is Saving Private Ryan your number 2?
Pretty much every reason that I said, like, this film is truly just one. It's also is my top 10 favorite all time. It's also my favorite. Making the 2 films is everybody's favorite war film all time. So yeah, this film definitely is the best war film ever made. It's just, oh my god. It's just an intense, it's thrilling, has incredible films from Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, especially Vin Diesel. The opening scene really captures you like it's one of the best opening scenes ever on film. And then it keeps you engaged and just keeps you in from beginning to end. Just, oh my god, this film's just an incredible experience. Just, if you have not seen this film yet, where have you been?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, this is definitely the best war film. Like, usually I'm not really the biggest fan of war films, but it's one of the war films that no matter how tense and how, oh my god, I can watch it a lot and still be enthralled by it.
Yeah.
And that's why it is my second favorite Spielberg film. Also, it not only is my second favorite Spielberg, but also in my top 5 favorites of all time. That's like I said.
All right, and Nick Canino, why is Saving Private Ryan your number 2?
Pretty much what Double Nine and Sammy said are the main reasons why I love Saving Private Ryan so much. Like, it's not only like the 1990s, but it's one of the greatest. It's the greatest war film I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was just amazing. The story, the opening scene. Oh, wow! Scenes I've ever seen. The script, Gretchen Spielberg took. He deserved that Best Director Oscar. He deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
The acting was terrific. Tom Hanks, this is one of his best performances. Also was fantastic in this movie. This is also one of his best performances. Diesel, even though he's not into that much, he's terrific. Excuse me. After all that yelling that happened after Andrew hasn't seen the Godfather trilogy, which he should be seeing a trilogy.
Yes.
It's just no. I'm just like, my voice is like lowering a bit. It's just.
Ryan, the fact that Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture over this.
Oh my god! Yeah! To quote my buddy Jerome Latimer, I want to give out a big motherfucking oh to the Oscars and Harvey Weinstein making Shakespeare in Love win Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan.
You know, it's not good of a film.
No, Shakespeare in Love sucks.
Exactly.
Shit! It's my most overrated film of all time.
Same.
All
costume and production values are great, and it does have a great cinematography and musical score, but the acting, script, direction, story, 1.5 out of 5, D+. 1.5 out of 5. Fear and loathsome. Sorry to get off topic for a second.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're having too much fun in this podcast. I don't even know what's going on.
I don't even know. Listen,
Exactly.
I think this is the podcast where the rails have gone off the most, but it's great. We're having a blast with this.
Yeah, last week was kind of bad, but oh my god, I don't even know what's going on.
We don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, as I was saying about sorry, as I was saying, the cinematography was terrific. The editing was terrific. The war sequences were very powerful and just amazing. And the production values and costume design, the way it looked, 1944. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
This is some of the best production values and costume design I've ever seen in a motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, if you haven't seen Saber, and the way it ended, phenomenal.
Oh, definitely.
I haven't seen Saving Private Ryan. You doing? See it now! The greatest war film of all time and one of Spielberg's very best films. Private Ryan is my number 2, and as always, one more time, I want to give out a big motherfucking to the Oscars. Very Shakespeare in Love win Best Picture. Fuck this movie.
Oh my god. You know what? You guys remember Sausage Party when they put up Saving Private Ryan? In the beginning.
That was great. Oh man, that was great.
It's like the limbs. It's like the spaghetti cans. All the spaghettis are out. It's supposed to be a limbs.
And the Oreo cookie is like picking up his.
Oh man. Oh yeah, the Oreo that like hit the.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I saw that in theater. I was dying.
I was in tears.
I saw when I saw Sausage Party. At the end, my friend next to me goes, "What the fuck did I just witness?"
Oh my god,
yeah, that movie's hilarious. I love Sausage Party.
That movie is amazing. That was my favorite. That was my favorite animated. That was the best animated film of last year. I don't care what anybody says.
That was one of my favorite animated films. That movie is hilarious.
That was one of my favorites too.
That was funny. I know, hilarious.
Oh man,
fucking hilarious. That's all I need to say. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
They're eating children. Fucking children.
So Andrew.
Yeah,
number 2, Andrew.
Number dose.
You know, it just got off the rails at this point. I completely forgot that it was my turn. All right, my number 2 is Jurassic Park.
Hey.
I love this movie. It's amazing how it honestly has some of the best visuals of all time, and it's amazing how it still holds up today. Honestly, this movie is the reason why I prefer practical effects over visual effects, because just of how well this movie holds up. The animatronics in this movie it's amazing. And like I said with Jaws, it's amazing how a non-human character can be such a great villain with the T-Rex. And I saw a meme, and it makes me laugh every time. It goes, the original dad joke, and it's when Alan Grant is holding on to the electric fence, and he pretends to get electrocuted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, no, I love the relationship all the characters have with each other, and Jeff Goldblum in this movie is just fantastic.
Oh, I love him in this movie.
And I'm excited to see how they use this character in
Jurassic World 2.
Yeah.
I actually don't hate the second one, honestly. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I actually like the second one. I don't mind it.
Alan.
Yeah, that scene. Okay, fuck that scene. That scene's stupid. But
The third one, yeah, that's awful.
that was a retarded scene. But other than that, it's not that bad.
Honestly, I hate the gymnastics scene more than I hate the Alan scene in the second one.
The Alan scene was just cringeworthy. Like that.
No, I mean
Dinosaur.
I mean, in its defense, and by no means do I like Jurassic Park 3, but it's a dream sequence.
Movie.
It's a dream sequence when in Jurassic Park: The Lost World, the gymnastics scene, at least for me, it's just so fucking retarded. Like, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that finds the Lost World Jurassic Park underrated.
Yeah, no, like, I think it's all right. Like, I don't.
I find it as well. I wrote them as on mentions.
But what else do you have to say about the first?
I understand why you thought it was all right. I can understand why you thought it was all right.
Yeah.
As I was saying, though, you know, Jurassic Park is easily in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I saw this when I was a kid, and I was just so amazed by it. And I watch it, you know, at least once a year, and I'm still amazed by it today. It's fantastic. Like we've been saying, 1993 was a fantastic year for Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And you know,
probably his best year.
Preference when it comes to yeah, and it's all about preference when, you know, between Schindler's List and this. But I prefer Jurassic Park over Schindler's List, but I can completely understand when people prefer Schindler's List over this. Jurassic Park is just.
I'm sorry, I was gonna say I feel like you can put a lot of movies from Spielberg as number one. Like any movie you can put,
any movie on, you know, any one of your guys' top 5. And any one of mine, even some of my honorable mentions, if you put it at number 1, I could 100% understand.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, it's just Jurassic Park's just a fun adventure that I love.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so now we're on to our favorite Steven Spielberg film, or our number 1 best.
Whoa.
All right, so now this my number 1. Everyone else mentioned it, so I'll just say it. My number 1 is Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
This is one of the absolute greatest. Fuck you. This is one of the.
What? I said woo, you asshole. I was cheering for the fucking movie.
Yeah, right. It's a boo.
No, I didn't. Movie that I had on my list. How the fuck does that make sense?
I don't know, because you like trolling.
You like to boo Diego all the time. You don't mess with him a lot.
You know what? I'm not a troll. You just assume that you're projecting. You're the troll.
I can't even.
That the movie Trolls was based off of your life. It's troll ever.
Oh my god!
What is going on here? Oh man! So you were saying?
There's somebody running here.
Saving Private Ryan is one of my absolute favorite films of all time. It's one of the absolute greatest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I know you've all mentioned like the first 30 minutes, the first 20 minutes of the movie. Dude, it's like a horror film.
Yeah.
How crazy the war. And I'm sorry, but I hate people who are like, oh, this movie just glorifies violence. It's so bloody for the sake of being bloody.
Bullshit!
It's freaking war!
Yeah, and
war movie! What don't you people understand?
Yeah, and the way I saw it was that Spielberg was trying to like convey the horror of war, you know, rather than just trying to make a bloody film to be bloody. Same with Mel Gibson and with Hacksaw Ridge, you know, same thing.
Exactly.
But for me, this is Spielberg's best directed film. I think the direction is so great, and absolutely one of Tom Hanks' best performances too.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He was incredible. And this is not only is it a great war film. I mean, I do think it's the best war film ever made, but I think it's a great drama.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
A very emotional movie and perfect conclusion for me. And I think the character development is absolutely amazing. I love the characters in this movie. Like, I didn't want any character to die. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, each character like on the team, we're good. We're great. There's two death scenes that always gets to me. One death scene in particular is the guy, I don't want to say the nurse, I guess you can say, he's not a nurse, but he's the guy that
Yeah, that he's kind of like a doctor. He kind of like takes care of like them when they're out in the field and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Well, his death scene is like,
yeah.
Oh my God, it's like I couldn't believe what I was watching. The second one, Adam Goldberg, I forget his character's name, but the way he dies, oh my God, with the knife.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's like, oh my God, no, please don't. And then he just like gets stabbed, and like you literally see him shaking, and the guy's like, shh, it's okay, don't worry. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What even is this?
Christ.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But this movie is like a 6 out of 5, man. I absolutely love it.
Definitely 5.
A masterpiece.
6 out of 5 for sure. One of the greatest movies ever made.
Nothing but the highest praise. Like, there's Vin Diesel is so good in this movie too, and even like what happens to him, even that's like heartbreaking. You're like, fuck, man, I don't want him to die. No, you can say that about like anyone in this movie, but it's 2 hours and 50 minutes long, and you don't feel the runtime. In fact, you wouldn't mind if it was longer. At least that's how I felt. Like, if it was longer, like, I wouldn't have cared, because that's how much I like the movie. But yeah, this is one of my favorite. For me, it's Spielberg's best film. And I know, since you guys don't have this in number one, but whatever you guys' number one is, I can totally respect it, because he's made so many. Spielberg has just made, masterpiece after masterpiece that you can't even argue. It's really hard to say what really his number one best film is, because most of them are like just phenomenal. So
I agree.
Fine is my number one.
Yeah.
That's pretty much why. So 99. What's your favorite Spielberg film? I'll be right back.
My favorite Spielberg movie of all time. Everyone has mentioned it, and I'm about to mention it right now as my number one, and that is also my favorite horror film of all time, and that is Jaws.
Yeah.
Jaws is amazing. This is, without question, Steven Spielberg's best movie to me. It just, everything about this film is incredible. From the way that they handle from the shark firsthand, because, they had a lot of production issues with the shark and stuff like that. And what I like is that kind of forced them to not use the shark all that much. And that added even more to the thrilling element of this movie, the real scary, because you don't know when this shark is going to come and really terrorize everyone. And it's great. Like, it really leaves you on the edge of your seat. You're wondering what's going to happen next. The shark is one of the greatest villains of all time. He really is. And he's just great. I love the acting in this movie. Everyone does a phenomenal job. It makes you Steven Spielberg really makes you care for these three characters, because what mostly a lot of shark movies forget to do nowadays is focus on its characters. And Jaws does that perfectly. Like, Jaws really focuses on its characters, and just that scene where they're in the boat and they're all talking to each other, one of the best scenes of all time. I love that.
I agree. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That scene is incredible. I love that scene so much. And then, of course, that finale where the shark just, goes all mayhem on that boat. Fantastic. So great. Like, I don't think Steven Spielberg is ever going to make a movie better than Jaws for me. Jaws is, without question, to me, just his best film. Just everything about this movie is literally perfect. It's literally in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love this movie to death. If you have never seen Jaws, definitely see it. It's quite the movie. Jaws is a phenomenal movie, and the movie that really defined the blockbuster as we know it today. So, Yeah, Jaws, #1.
That was your number one favorite horror film as well, right?
Yes, it was.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yes.
All right. Sammy, what's your favorite Steven Spielberg film?
Well, I feel like I'm the only person that actually has to have Jaws in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's really like even making a top 10 Steven Spielberg list is hard.
It's
You know?
hard. It's It's hard. It's very
Next
hard.
There. Hold on 1 sec. Oh, sorry. A little bit. Yes. Sorry. My favorite Spielberg film of all time, you guys have probably mentioned this film along your list, Jurassic Park.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is my favorite Spielberg film of all time. I'm not going to go too much because I guys pretty much went to why it's so amazing, from the characters to the effects, which is the best visual effects of all time. Everything about Jurassic Park is truly amazing and awesome. The reason why this film is my favorite Spielberg film, because not only is it the first Spielberg film I watched, but it is the film that truly has got me into films. Most people you say is like Lord of the Rings or The Dark Knight or Star Wars, but me, Jurassic Park was the film that when I first watched it, I wanted to learn about films. I wanted to make films. I remember when I got some VHS copy of it. I watched it on my TV, and I was like, "Oh my god, I want to do that. I want to do that in the future."
Wow, so it's very inspiring. Yeah, I can definitely see that as being a very inspiring film for
Yes.
young people who want to do film.
Is it your favorite movie of all time, Sammy?
It's my second favorite. My favorite Salt and Pressure is back, but
Okay,
it's like favorite.
I respect it.
Yeah. But well, like, I don't know what to say, but Japan has already said it is truly amazing, phenomenal in every sense of the word, from the effects to the action, characters. This film's truly amazing in every sense of the word. The last one I really like, Jurassic Park 3, I find okay. Much that else does, I find okay. I really just a world, I definitely cannot wait for the sequel, especially Jeff Goldblum come back. I'm definitely excited about that.
Oh, the new Jurassic World movie?
Yes.
Yeah, that comes out next year. That's right.
I really hope that's a lot better than the first movie, because I know the world. I personally find it overrated.
That's fine.
Yeah, I personally, I just found it decent. I don't know what to expect of the second one, though.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was just disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand.
Not too short. Jurassic Park, my second favorite film of all time. It's a film that truly inspired me, and that's why it is my favorite film from Steven Spielberg. That's why it's my.
All right, Nick, you're number one.
And we all know what number one is.
Okay, I'm pretty sure many of you guys know what my favorite Steven Spielberg film of all time is. I saw this movie twice. One back in May of this year, and the other back in June when I owned the VHS copy of it. And this movie is not only my favorite Steven Spielberg film of all time, but it is my second favorite film of all time, just behind Goodfellas. It is first list.
I knew it.
Yeah.
First list. One of the greatest movies I had ever seen in my entire life. I mean, the way it was, it told the true story of the Holocaust. It's just incredible. I mean, when people think Spielberg, they personally think of films like Jurassic Park, E.T., Jaws. But personally, whenever I think of Steven Spielberg, I personally think of the best film that he's ever made, Schindler's List. This is one of the greatest movies. This is one of the greatest movies that's based on the Holocaust. That's based on the real Holocaust events I had ever seen. Everything in this movie was incredible. Incredible. Start to finish. The story, incredible. It feels realistic. Phenomenal. The direction Spielberg took. Loved it. Loved it. I'm my mom and my brother are home upstairs because my mom and my brother are home. I'm still talking as I'm going upstairs. Anyway, this movie was phenomenal in every sense of the word. Like, acting was incredible. Like, my favorite performance from Liam Neeson.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Yeah.
And Ray Fiennes. Best villain I had ever seen.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best villains I've seen, for sure.
Same.
Yeah, it's just... Wow, you just want to see him die. Doing all the horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. His performance is easily the best, and I believe that he should have won Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, yeah, he should have.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That was his Oscar.
Don't get me wrong, I love The Fugitive. It's one of the best action films I've ever seen. I just felt giving Tommy Lee Jones the Oscar was just a bit unfair.
Yeah, definitely, because the Ralph Fiennes gave a much better performance. You know.
Yes.
And Ben Kingsley. This is my favorite performance from Ben Kingsley.
Yes, I forgot to mention him. He was great.
Ben Kingsley, he's fantastic in the movie.
Yeah.
This is my favorite performance from him. I mean, wow, he is so and so sympathetic, like the real Scott Stern. You really care for him very much. And
Absolutely.
Liam, I mentioned Liam Neeson's best performance. It was Liam Neeson's best performance. I mean, he looks and sounds like Oscar Schindler. And that's what I loved about his performance. The score by John Williams. This is my favorite musical score from John Williams.
Really?
Especially
Okay.
when
Definitely.
it's just I just love the way he like two versions of Schindler, of the theme from Schindler's List. One on the violin and the other on the piano.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I listen every day to the violin piece. Plus, this is one of those films that my life. It changed me the way I am today. The cinematography, phenomenal. The best. This is one of the best looking films I had ever seen. The way it was shot in black and white. The editing was terrific. It's very well paced. Not once did I feel bored throughout. Yes, it is a 192-minute movie, but here's the thing. I was emotionally invested in the story. Feel bored throughout.
Yep.
Plus, the production values and costume design, these are some of the best I've ever seen because it really feels like you're back in the darkest times in human history.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Just absolutely the carnage. The scenes that involve the carnage and the liquidation. Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Oh my god. I watch it at times, but at the same time, I'm fascinated at how Spielberg
Mm-hmm.
it was just beyond incredible. And let me tell you, this movie even offers my all-time favorite ending. my all-time favorite ending, where not only you get to see like what happens like after the Holocaust, you get to see the actual survivors of the Holocaust.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is my all-time favorite ending. I mean, the rest of 187 minutes of the film is very hard to watch, but once you get through that, for the last 6 minutes, the greatest ending I had ever seen in a motion picture.
Yeah, and like I know trolls are trolls, but like why do people like say that this movie's manipulative? I really don't get it.
I really don't.
I don't get it either. Like what?
Yeah, and there's like so many like the thing is, you know, the first page of like the IMDb user ratings, they're all like 1 out of 10 saying propaganda, Spielberg's just manipulating people. I'm like, fuck off.
Seriously?
Come on. Come on.
Come on.
Overall, this movie was beyond incredible. And you know, thinking about the ending again makes me want to go watch the ending again.
Yeah, I would actually watch it again too. Like, I actually wouldn't mind like watching the whole movie again, honestly.
Same here. I mean, like I said, the whole 187 minutes of the film is very hard to watch. The last 6 minutes, though, I could watch over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Incredible. It is beyond incredible. It definitely deserved the Best Picture Oscar, and it was about time that Spielberg got his Best Director Oscar.
I'll even go as far as saying it's like one of my favorite Best Picture winners ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Picture winner.
Yeah, my favorite is Return of the King. But
I could definitely see that. It is a great movie. Phenomenal movie. One of the best I've ever seen. If you have not seen Schindler's List, see it now.
yeah, pretty much. And if you have Netflix, you know, you can watch it on Netflix because it's on Netflix. So.
Mm-hmm.
Why Schindler's List is my favorite Steven Spielberg film of all time. Once again, kudos to Steven Spielberg and kudos to everybody involved.
Yep. All right, Andrew, your favorite Steven Spielberg film?
My favorite film is none other than Indiana Jones and the Raiders.
Wait, what? I'm sorry,
What
you
is
completely
it?
cut out. Well, I think his internet cut out or something. Because you guys didn't hear what he said, right? Or was it just me?
No, my thing.
I think it was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, yeah, that's
Is
what
it Raiders of the Lost Ark, Andrew?
Yeah, that's what he was gonna say, but he might be having a problem with his internet.
That sucks.
Oh, jeez. One of those.
Yeah.
Folks, for experiencing some technical difficulties, just hang on tight until Andrew comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, I find it really interesting how we all have different number ones.
Yes.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I thought one person was gonna have like at least one, the
Mhm.
same favorite. But I think it's the first time
Sorry
ever.
about that.
That's fine.
No, on the horror one, we all had a different one. But
All right.
anyway, like I said, my number one is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I absolutely love this film. It's my third favorite film of all time. I personally like Indiana Jones about Solo. I might be in the minority on this, but I just personally when I was a kid, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. He was just so cool, and I just wanted to be him and go on the adventures he went on because of just how cool it was and how much fun it looked like he had. And the story in it is absolutely amazing. And I mean, the bad guys are funny enough. They're Nazis as well, but
Yeah.
you know, this film, it's just absolutely amazing. Like I saw this as a child, and like I said, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. And I think Temple of Doom is great as well. And I love The Last Crusade. We'll get to the other piece of shit later. But, yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite Steven Spielberg movie of all time.
All right, so that's our favorite Steven Spielberg films. Yeah, we all have different number ones, and I think that's the first time this podcast has ever happened where we all had different number ones, which is awesome. And it just shows how awesome Steven Spielberg is.
Exactly.
All right, so now we're going to be talking about our worst Steven Spielberg film. So, if you have the same worst, just join in the conversation. My least favorite is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
You're goddamn right. That's my worst.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. I don't think it's like one of the worst movies ever made. Honestly, I've heard some people say it's like one of the worst movies ever made. I've seen much worse. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But I think compared to the other movies, it's just not that good. Honestly, it was very disappointing because I was really looking forward to it.
I'm looking at you both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or even movies like The Last Airbender. That's way worse than Indiana Jones 4. Like,
Oh, look at this on Last Airbender.
yeah.
Oh God, that film. And Jason fucking and Eric Shithead's masterpieces. Those are way worse.
Oh yeah, disaster movie that came out that year, and that was like 300 million times worse.
All right, listen. The disaster movie's a piece of shit. Meet the Spartans is a piece of shit, and
Yeah.
the epic movie.
Both
can
of
go
them
fuck
tied
itself.
is my worst film of 2008.
Yeah.
But Indiana Jones 4, like, there were some things I liked about it. Like, I liked Harrison Ford in it, and some of the action scenes were okay, but I thought Shia LaBeouf was not good. And Kate Blanchett was very disappointing. When I heard she was going to be cast as a villain, I was like, she's going to be a wonderful villain. But then I saw her, I'm like,
Yeah.
she was disposable. And I thought the plot twist at the end was kind of terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I was not a fan of that. I was like,
It was pretty bad.
This one basically nuked the fridge.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I don't hate it,
Yeah,
but
but
I don't. It's not good either. So
yeah, I
like,
don't hate that either, but
yeah, I know.
It's
Like,
not
I'm
terrible, but
just-
it was kind of stupid.
Yeah, I'm hoping the next one's better. The new Indiana Jones movie coming out in like 2019 or something.
2020.
Oh, 2020. Okay.
Yeah.
But, okay, I know there are people who say the second one's worse than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I disagree completely.
I
don't-
very much disagree with that.
Yeah, so do I. I don't see it. So yeah, that's my least favorite. So Andrew, why is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull your least favorite?
Pretty much like you said. As much as I've been just bashing this movie. It isn't one of the worst movies of all time, but it's most certainly one of the most disappointing movies of all time. Like I said with my number one, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like I said, it's one of my favorite movies. Indiana Jones is one of my favorite characters. Like I said, Indiana Jones I like over Han Solo, and I love Han Solo. And I love the first three. And I'm like, finally, I get to see an Indiana Jones movie in theaters. And, I was just vastly disappointed by it. And like you said, Harrison Ford is fine, but it kind of seems like he's phoning it in.
Yeah, maybe everyone was just phoning it in. Even Spielberg himself and George Lucas.
I don't know if it's more of a theory or whatever, but I hear the reason why it was like the way it was is because George Lucas was heavily involved in this movie.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
and listen, I respect George Lucas for what he has done. I respect him for creating the world of Star Wars and creating the world of Indiana Jones, two of my absolute favorite, I guess, universes of all time. But I don't like the guy. Just to me, he seems like so money driven and kind of seems greedy to me, and just no evidence is with it even goes back to not Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks. He made them because he made them because he knew he could sell toys on them. He made the prequels for money. He probably wanted Gold to be made for money. And I don't know how the fifth one's going to go. I don't know how involved he's going to be in it. I hope he's not going to be that involved in it. And I'm hoping that they could just wrap up the series nicely. Because not that I want it to end, but I mean, there's going to be a certain point where Harrison Ford just can't do these movies anymore. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to see, as much as I love Chris Pratt, I don't want to see him as Indiana Jones. I don't want to see anybody else as Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones is one of those roles, and I know River Phoenix technically played him, and they had that TV show that I haven't seen, but I don't want to see anybody with Indiana Jones. And I think they're doing the right move by making a fifth one, because the fourth one was just so disappointing that they just need to leave it off on the right foot.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been honestly, I would have been just fine with just a trilogy, you know?
Yeah, but like I said before we went on the air, I kind of sometimes forget that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was made, because I often refer. I'm serious. I often refer to Indiana Jones is one of my favorite trilogies. The first three is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, and I often talk with them with high praise, and like I'll say, I love all the Indiana Jones movies, but like I say that forgetting that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull exists, and I know I joke around saying, Ghostbusters 2, it doesn't exist, it never happened, or Gremlins 2 never happened. But like I'm like
Grown Ups 2.
No, Gremlins 2. But yeah, Grown Ups 2 can go fuck itself as well.
I'll say this. I would honestly take Kingdom of the Crystal Skull over Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones any day of the week.
Oh, what's up?
Definitely.
But yeah, the nuking of the fridge is stupid, and him swinging with the monkeys is stupid. When the monkeys are swinging with them, I think that's stupid. And the whole alien thing is just stupid.
Yeah, I don't like that, honestly.
The biggest problem I have with this movie is it just didn't feel adventurous. It just didn't have that same feel. It didn't feel like an Indiana Jones movie, and that's the biggest problem I have with it.
Yeah, that's understandable. So is that all you have to say about
yeah, that's all I gotta say.
All right, so yeah, for me, it's just mediocre and just very disappointing. I don't think it's horrible. There's some things I like about it, but
yeah, like I said, it was more disappointing to me than anything. And I will say this: it's probably the most disappointing movie of all time to me. And I can't remember, even though I never really liked Phantom Menace as a kid, I can't remember because it just when it came out, I can't remember Phantom Menace. Like being like excited for that,
we were really young. We were like 4.
Yeah, we were really young. But like by the time Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out,
a week old when that movie came out. So no joke.
I was only like 2 years old when that movie came out.
Yeah, but like with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I was very much looking forward to this movie. yeah, I was just really looking forward to it because I've already seen all the Indiana Jones movies like many times up to that date, and it was just very disappointing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
All right, Double Nine. What is your worst Steven Spielberg movie? I know this might be hard for you because Spielberg's your favorite director, but
it is. But he has actually, to me, he hasn't really made too many terrible movies. Honestly, to me,
yeah,
there's really only 2 dishonorable mentions I have, and that's The Terminal and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I never seen
The Terminal.
The Terminal is fine. You know, it's an okay romance movie, but however, War of the Worlds is just god awful.
That's my worst as well.
War of the Worlds is just god awful. Okay, I'm not gonna talk too much about this one because wait, what?
I was also noticed as well. War of the Worlds.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Your 3 first. Oh, okay.
Since I talked about this movie a lot in the Tom Cruise podcast, I'm not gonna really talk too much about it. I'll just say this. I think the movie's really awful. It's really one of the dumbest movies I think I've ever seen in my life. Tom Cruise, not even Tom Cruise could have saved the movie. Steven Spielberg's directing honestly wasn't even that great. The special effects are terrible. Dakota Fanning, I don't know what she was doing. Just everything about this movie is just a complete another giant mess. And the way, when you find out the certain thing about this movie, I'm just like, are you kidding me? So, yeah, War of the Worlds. Oh, what a awful movie.
And that same year, Munich came out.
I know, and a lot of people praise that movie. It was nominated for Best Picture, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, another movie that Spielberg should have won Best Picture for God's sake. All right. All right, Sammy. What is your... Oh, yeah, you said War of the Worlds. So why is that your worst?
Not for me. I don't really actually hate any Spielberg films. Like I feel like you said, Indiana Jones so means that the best. With World War, I don't really hate as much as Double Nine does, but it's not a good film at all. It's still not. There's definitely a negative whip in this film, but overall, this film is just boring. It's the moments where it's like, then there were a few more touches, and in the end, where I was like, what? And Dakota Fanning, don't even get me started on her. This film just...
Oh.
Yeah, Again, don't really hate this film much as Double Nine does, but it's still not a good film. There's some good about with Tom Cruise, some good scenes, and that's good 20-30 minutes, at least for me. But overall, this film's just forgettable, honestly. There's not much to say about it. Again, don't really hate any film from Spielberg, but this is one of the few films I thought was just, man, in my opinion, that's why it's my worst.
Okay. And Nick, what do you got to say about War of the Worlds?
Okay, I will say this. As much as Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull had a lot of flaws in it, I actually like that film. I don't think it's perfect, but it does have some flaws, but I really took it for what it was. And then one of my dishonorable mentions was The Terminal, which was okay to me with Steven Spielberg's worst film. I mean, just 2003 through like early like mid 2005 was not a good time for Steven Spielberg. Like, and this was before Munich, one of the best movies of that year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was like in my top 3 or top 5 of that year.
Yeah, with War of the Worlds though. Okay, I'm with Sammy on this one. I don't hate the film as much as Double Nine does, but it's just one of those films that felt like Steven Spielberg really lost me on this film.
I agree.
Granted, I thought the visual effects were good, and it does have a good score and cinematography, and Tom Cruise does give it all. The thing that disappointed me the most was the script. Hell, Steven Spielberg's direction wasn't even all that great. He didn't deliver a terrible direction. It just wasn't a good direction he took. And the rest of the acting, despite Tom Cruise, was pretty bad. Like Dakota Fanning, oh my goodness.
Yeah, she was pretty obnoxious in that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And the son was pretty bad too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and,
God.
Justin Chenwick, I think
Oh,
that's his name.
yeah.
Oh, God.
God, don't even get me started on him. The editing was all over the place. The pacing was really sluggish, and it suffers through some cliches. Since we've seen stuff about aliens done before, the twist and the twist in the ending was so stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. You thought the twist and you thought the way that Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull ended was stupid. This is a lot worse.
I agree.
When I saw that ending, when I saw the way it ended, I'm just like, hey, that's how you're gonna end your movie, and that's the twist of your film. I gave that film a 2 out of 5. Minus.
That's I'll give it as well.
Honestly, I'd probably give the movie an F. I like despise it that much.
Oh,
I mean, for me, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I mean, it's not perfect at all, but I did kind of enjoy it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I know a lot of people do enjoy the movie. It's just for me, I just couldn't stand watching it.
Yeah, no, but Dakota Fanning and the son, I'm on his side.
It was just a major disappointment.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really impressive that Spielberg's been directing like movies for over 30 years, and only like a very select
Exactly.
were like missteps. You know.
I only don't like 3 of them. That's impressive.
Exactly. Out of 29 movies, I mean, and you don't like 3? That's crazy.
Exactly.
You know? The Terminal and War of the Worlds are the only 2 films that I don't like from Spielberg.
I haven't
That I
seen
don't like.
either.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the Terminal, but
Yeah, you're not really missing much with the Terminal, honestly.
all right.
Tom Hanks in that.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is the main actor in it.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is.
Ah.
War of the Worlds is a cliched, forgettable film that really lost me at like one of Steven Spielberg's like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Spielberg. I really love this guy very much. He's my second favorite filmmaker of all time, just behind Martin Scorsese. But it's just like I mentioned in some other previous podcasts, like on my podcast. Not every director is always going to have a hit. Some of them will have some. And War of the Worlds is probably the biggest bump to me for Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Your name is
And that's why War of the Worlds is my least favorite Steven Spielberg film. Again, I don't hate the movie. It was just really disappointing. Like I said, 2 out of 5, a C-.
yeah, again, I'll get that as well.
Okay. All right, so that's a wrap on our Steven Spielberg podcast. I want to thank you guys for joining. I know Flicks with the Dicks is still on, so a lot of people are there. But for those who, like MC Deadpool, I really do appreciate him because he said he's switching back and forth, which is awesome. So thank you for that. That's actually really cool. Justin Williams was on. John Wick and Jackson, I don't know if he's still watching, but he's probably disappointed we don't have Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the #1
Exactly.
best. So. But you guys have anything you guys want to say before I end the broadcast?
Well, thank you, Mr. Diego. I once again appreciate you just, and making a little bit of a change and just adding me to this. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for this. And I have fun talking about my favorite Steven Spielberg movies of all time because he's my favorite director, and it was great to talk about some of my favorites from him. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
This is definitely a lot of fun. It was fun talking about my favorite director of all time. So I'm talking about the films I love so much. Being a dear friend, let me be on this podcast. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Yep, no problem. No problem. All right, Nick.
Thank you so much, Diego, for having me on again. And I do apologize that, like, when I was talking about Schindler's List, that I had to change like the location, like going from the kitchen all the way to upstairs in my room. That was because like my mom and my brother just got home from a hard day's work.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
Thank you, anyways, Diego, for having me on your podcast. I had a lot of fun talking about my favorite Steven Spielberg films of all time, especially I couldn't wait to talk about Schindler's List because of how much I love the film very much.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It was also a lot of fun, like we're ripping on the Oscars for their biggest failures.
Yeah, they really like screwed over Spielberg so many times. It's not even funny. Like,
yeah, seriously.
I don't know how Spielberg doesn't like hate them.
And like always, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to Sammy, Diego, and Andrew's channel. Give them the love that they absolutely deserve. Stay tuned for Diego's next podcast. And once again, to quote Drake, motherfuck the Oscars for having Shakespeare Love win Best Picture over Saving Private Ryan.
I don't think anyone will ever forgive them for that. Honestly, like, they'll never be forgiven.
Listen here, Diego. I mean,
thank you.
Not only will I never forgive him for not giving the Oscar to Saving Private Ryan, but I won't ever forgive him for not nominating The Dark Knight for Best Picture, and I most certainly will never, and I mean ever, forgive them for not nominating Jake Gyllenhaal.
For Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he should have been nominated.
No, he should have won the Oscar.
Listen. Yeah. I love Michael Keaton in Birdman, and I really enjoy Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything. But I mean, nothing could touch Jake Gyllenhaal that year.
No.
Well, there was only one performance that I thought was a bit better, and that was Andy Serkis in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But that's just
and I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah.
All right, so next week there'll be Nick Canino will be back with us for the top 5 Robert De Niro films. That should be
awesome.
That should be pretty interesting.
Maybe this is my time to watch The Godfather.
Yeah, well, that's she's in the second one, so yeah.
Oh, okay. See, not
watch
that I would
The Godfather Parts 1 and 2, Andrew.
Not that I would know.
It's in part 3.
Yeah, top 5 Robert De Niro films. Nick will be joining Andrew, and Alex Meyer will be with us. Yeah, it should be a good podcast. Robert De Niro is in a lot of great movies, so that's gonna be another hard top 5 list to do.
I already know what you guys are gonna choose for the worst, so let's go.
Oh yeah, Yeah.
Let's go.
Oh, I'm ready to take a big giant dump on the fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was fun.
But until next time, guys, thank you guys again. And until next time, stay classy. I'm Diego Coya, and I will see you guys next week when we're back for the Robert De Niro film. So, see you guys later.
Bye.
See ya.